Welcome back everybody to the Let's Play. We have reached 500 subs on this channel and I'm incredibly grateful to all of you. Thank you so much. As you can see behind me, we have this nice little monument to commemorate this milestone, and depending on how this area builds out over time, we may relocate it to a more frequented location, but essentially I just want to see it on a regular basis just to convey my gratitude and appreciation for all of you. So thank you again. Okay, so today we are back on the Villager Island, and real quick, some unideal news first. I completely forgot that I need to wait for the replay mod to update in order to actually update the world to the current version, that is 1.21. So apologies for getting ahead of myself in the last video. We will be staying on 1.16 until this mod is updated. So my mistake, and hopefully this is cool with everybody. The good news is that I've made decent progress on some personal responsibilities, and I had some plans fall through, and as such I'm able to find time to record today. So let's get down to business on this island. Alright, so what I have been doing is I have collected essentially all of the possible red sand from the far badlands that we intend to reset the chunks for. So we are good to go, I think, in terms of materials for building out this area that is the villager city, and hopefully we can get a little more progress done today. And so in terms of the actual city, so ironically, even though I had golems and lit this area up as much as I could, the villagers still managed to meet their untimely demise, especially the farmers and some of the masons and armorers. So that's a real bummer. Even though I wanted the villagers to be free roaming on this island, really only the priests were able to make it out unscathed. Oh, look at this. Thank you. You gave him a flower. Anyways, so the priests are okay, and we have a couple of masons over there that have somehow been protected. I don't know how that's possible, but in any case, we have a lot fewer villagers here now, and I want to get as many as possible before updating to 1.21. And so that is what this monstrosity is, and I've been breeding up masons, farmers, and a couple of butchers. And the reason for this is just in case to have these, I guess, butcher trades, as well as the dried kelp block trade, and importantly the sweet berry trade, because there is a really cool farm that utilizes foxes to get sweet berries, so I want to have a good array of these folks in order to really take advantage of that trade. And then over here I have masons, and the idea is just to get the one stone trade, as well as these terracotta and quartz trades. So hopefully we can get all of the different colors and variants of terracotta, both the unglazed and glazed, as well as miscellaneous ite trades, so granite, diorite, and... In any case, because they can't be free roaming, we are going to have to make a proper villager trading hall, and so I've done so, or at least started to do so, in this mountain over here. And really the idea here is to have a circular tower that goes all the way up and is integrated into this naturally forming mountain, which I still continue to be impressed by, as this is 1.16 terrain generation. But in any case, it will probably go higher than this, but I have this radius equals 10 circle, and I managed to translate that down to this area here, which is just a circular area where we can enter from both of these sides, and then maybe we'll have some more, I guess, underground portions of this village deeper into here, as this mountain or hill does extend out back quite a bit. Yeah, so there's that full 360. And so after I made that radius equals 10 circle, what I did is I just went 2 blocks out, and then I just kind of followed this along, adding to 3 blocks whenever there's a, I guess, a dip here, and basically just extended the circle out. And then the idea here is just to have stairwells going down like such, so we can get to this lower area, and here is where I'm going to house all of the villagers for these trades, at least in the interim. That way we can take full advantage of the recuring. I guess it's a bug? Basically you can stack the discount feature from curing the villagers 4 times, at least in this current version. So hopefully that will stay. My understanding is that it will. But yeah, we'll put the villagers down here, and here, and here, and here. And this should give us plenty of space to keep them both safe and also keep the trading system efficient. So I'm thinking the masons will go over here, and then maybe the butchers all align over here. So yeah, ultimately, what I'm thinking is there will be a stairwell or a means of getting up, spiraling upward to the top, and we'll have a lot of librarian traits up there. And then these will basically be symmetric all along the 4 parts. There's no corners in a circle, so the 4 parts of this. That way it's easy to get down here to this lower level. And I'm not sure if I want to keep the sandstone. I think it's okay. Yeah, I think I'll just keep this sandstone for now, since we are in a desert. And then I believe I'll also keep this sandstone as well. In any case, let's hop over to creative where I'll just show you what I've designed. Okay, so we're back over in the test world, or creative build world, and here is what I have. This may be unpopular, but I'm going to try and go with diorite for this build, incorporating this in. And similar to the above ground parts of the village, I've kept the ongoing theme of using prismarine for the structure components, dark prismarine for the floor blocks, and then also incorporated a little bit of this red sandstone into the overall build. I think it looks okay, but as you can see, this is the mason trade. And so what I envision is that I'll have whatever trades that are interesting, that is the colored terracotta or glazed terracotta. We can put it like that. That way we know which ones are which. Basically, this will cover all of the types of terracotta, and then whatever extras or duplicates we have, we can kind of extend further out. Yeah, this is what I have envisioned for that. And likewise for the butchers and probably a row of farmers as well. I'll have them also in another row or bay, if you will. Even though this looks like an open air market, this will be underground in the tunnels. So we'll see how this looks against the backdrop of the sandstone, but that's what I've been able to design so far. Fairly simple, and definitely could use details like banners. I was thinking maybe they could be hung over the sea lantern so it's not so repetitive in that sense. And then maybe we can incorporate other decorations as well. So maybe perhaps including water in this area, we'll see. But yeah, that's what I have planned, and so I'll go ahead and get back to work, back over in survival. So what I'll get started on is making this symmetric, including some stairs. I'm really undecided as to what kind of stairs, either red sandstone or regular sandstone. I'm just really the sandstone person, aren't I? Building the base and now this area out of this stuff. But yeah, I'll go ahead and finish the stairwell part, so hollowing out these other 3 areas, incorporating the stairs, and then starting to replace all of the wall blocks with the sandstone, and then starting to build out that trading portion of the hall. Yeah, we'll just start there. And then I'll maybe think about transporting the villagers and whatnot. Okay, catch you after the cut. Okay, so it's been about a week and a half since I last recorded, and as you can probably see behind me, made a little bit of progress on this area, not so much on this top part, but I managed to get a nice design going for these stairwells going downward. So as you can see, I decided to do alternating prismarine as well as smooth sandstone stairs as we descend down into these corners, and decided to also incorporate the prismarine into these pillared areas as to break up the kind of monotony. I also decorated the lighting with the soul lanterns as well as the sea lanterns, and then gated each of these entryways with red sandstone, which I think gave it a really nice bit of color. And then finally added a little bit of details to these pillar areas and as well as these entryways, and gave a nice little trim to the ceiling here, which you can't really tell since they have the same block palette on the top. That is the sandstone and the smooth sandstone. So it looks like it's one continuous thing here, but then when you go down, it just gives a little bit more contrast to the eye as you're looking here. And so with this pretty much done, aside from the floor, what I want to focus on now is building out this area. And so as you can see, I automatically need to raise the ceiling to be a little bit higher, so 1 block higher, which is what I'm going to do. And originally I was thinking of keeping the sandstone block as the ceiling, but then I realized I used the red sandstone as the supporting block at the very top here, so I don't think that would look very good in terms of contrasting the 2 textures. So I will be changing all of this to smooth sandstone, and I think I'll do the same for the walls as well. And then I will proceed to build this out and start to transport the villagers. Oh yeah, speaking of the villagers, it seems that I keep getting these price increases because I'm trading the maximum number of items. So if I limit this to 6 trades per cycle, they should not have this gradual price increase of like 1 or 2 emeralds for each item. So that's really the issue I've been running into, and I will be more diligent when I trade and not kind of hike the prices gradually as I go to town with that.
Several months later.
Okay, it's been like 3 months at this point. I am so sorry. But I have managed to finish this area. So we got all of the different colors that we wanted. And as you can see, they have the trade there and maybe a little extra one. For the most part, they've been able to stay around this 1 emerald per stone trade. But some of them, even despite trading 6 emeralds in a single cycle, continue to raise the price. And I really don't understand this at all. But I tried, and we really got the important thing, which is each of the different colored terracottas. So that's fantastic. I also added some water, as I mentioned before, and kept the walls as a smooth sandstone. I also changed this to the smooth palette. I'm not really sure if I want to change that back to the red sandstone, but it'll stay as this for now. So if you keep going here, you can see that we've run out of room, or run out of masons rather. And this actually leads to the very center of the monument. So ultimately, I would like to have some sort of passageway down here, and then this would lead to a different area in the village. I'm thinking an underground lake or grotto, but I probably mentioned that before. I think this is good for now. We have all the masons ready to go. Rather than raising the ceiling, what I did is I just lowered the floor, and this ended up being a better course of action, as the desert, I didn't want to change the overall height of the desert above, and so it's still flat as it was before. Otherwise I would have had to lift all this up, and no, we're not going to do that. Alright, so I dug out tunnels in all of the directions, and over here I replaced the walls already with smooth sandstone. The thought is I'm going to put both the fishermen as well as the butchers here, and this will be their home for now. And the reason I chose to have both of these types of villagers here is because I wanted to keep the food and kind of market area away from the sacred grotto, where ultimately I think the villagers are getting their water from. And so we'll expand on that area in the future, but for now, we'll just house these villagers over here. And so I'll make this area a little bit more narrower. Over here, I kept it a little bit wider in order to allow for the iron golem. Where are they? Not there. You. In order for the iron golem to be able to walk around the perimeter. But it's been quite a bit of time, and I don't think I've had any issues with keeping the villagers safe. I definitely use trapdoors to really ensure that nothing could get in there and harm them. So I'm just gonna go ahead and make this narrower such that it'll feel a little more, what's the word? Not cramped, but a little busier, because it is the marketplace. And as you can see, this tunnel extends down pretty far, and I have built this small little underwater passageway into the neighboring island. I may want to lower this a little bit in the future, but for now that'll do, because I don't plan on building all the way out here during this episode. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll build this out, transport the villagers, and also moving and just getting those colored terracotta trades. It actually burnt me out of this project because it took, I want to say, 2 weeks of like non-stop trading to get the colors that I wanted, which is just like unbearable. So that did not help me return to this project, but here we are, and I've had a good amount of rest. So hopefully this is the start of regular uploads, and ideally we're going to update this world. Not in the next episode per se. I know what I said before with the replay mod and all that. That is now good to go. The main thing I just want to do is a quick world tour for the channel, just to see and showcase all the progress we made on 1.16. And then we can go ahead and get to updating this world, which hopefully my computer can handle. We'll see. Okay, to work. Okay, so I made some good progress. Probably not in this floor, but yeah, anyways. So, I was able to transfer all of the villagers over to this area. We got our fishermen, have the butchers, a couple of weaponsmiths, as well as some armorers. So we are good to go, I think. Additionally, I also made even more fishermen because this trade is just too good to kind of pass up. Hello there. Yeah, for this, what I ended up going with, kind of a little lush market. I know it's underground, but maybe there's ways they can grow plants underground here as part of the lore. One thing I realized is that for the fishermen, it's kind of difficult to access the EXP unless you have a fence post support here. So for example, in this fellow, it's really hard to get the EXP from the trade, so that was something I learned in this build. But overall, I tried to make this a little bit chaotic, just kind of like a seaside market you would see. And ultimately, we're going to have an underwater port here, and then maybe we'll expand this as well. For now, I think this is pretty good. Over here, I kept it pretty simple because I really wanted to make it efficient for the EXP and the trades. And then one thing I did notice, so I didn't think they would increase the fish trade emerald price, but they ended up doing that. And so, normally I'd be really frustrated, but what happened is that over here, I ended up putting all the villagers that had price increases. So mostly the farmers and some masons that were getting up to like, let's say 7 or 8 stone for 1 emerald. But then I put them all together, and of course these don't have the right price. You can see here that this villager only trades for 1 emerald. And then this villager used to trade for 6, but somehow by having the other villagers in proximity, they now trade for 2. And so I had a couple of hypotheses. The first being, okay, the job block glitched, but if you break and replace these, they don't seem to decrease their trades whatsoever. The farmers, yeah, most of them are pretty much back to normal. That one still has 3 for the... Okay, this is a good test. Alright. Probably need to label their... Hold on. Let me get a name tag. Alright, I'm being a little cheeky with this name, but bear with me. So now... let them mingle and see what happens. Alright, so out they go. Let me see if they'll take a job block. No. Alright, 2 and 4. Remember that, right? Okay, go over there. Maybe I need to give them a bed. One moment. And I guess now I need to sleep. Alright, so they're gonna go for the job block. Cool. Price is still the same. Huh, their trades seem to have not changed, so that's a little strange. Let me try trading with a neighboring villager. See if this does the trick. Still no. Okay, so we'll keep an eye out on you. But here's the weird part, right? Okay, so we have 2 villagers, 7 and 7. So I'm just gonna open that and see if anything happens to their prices over time. See, that one's at 2 now. I don't understand this. Okay, that one's still at 7. They need to gossip. That's how this works. That's okay. That kind of makes sense, but that's also really weird. So the real question is, can we get these masons back down to 1? That would be really ideal. And then also, I guess we can start to just free these folks since their trades are good now. So interest rates, you still charge a lot. I don't understand that. But for the most part, most of the farmers and whatnot, they are at good trades again. Because everything before was like inflating to 3 to 4 emeralds. And so that was no good. But now I think wow, we're rich. I solved inflation amongst the villagers. Who knew that all the villagers needed to do was talk to each other and gossip? Alright, so this is fantastic. I'm not too sure how to get their prices lower to like 1 per se. Maybe, okay, so here's what I'll probably do. I'll let these villagers all free roam, be happy, whatever. And then right before we update the world, I'll get the hero of the villager status effect, and then from there, I'll immediately update the world, and hopefully by doing that, we can lock in their 1 emerald trades and future-proof this area, and that'll be good. I'm really, really happy. I was so frustrated with all these villagers, but now it's all good. The one thing I don't know is if whether or not the villagers need beds. Based on our tests just now, they should not. So what I'm thinking is I can probably break this. Okay, so they're all at very high prices now, which is not great. See, 8. Alright, 1. So let's see if by letting this villager free roam and talk to these 4, that will help with the prices. Alright, well, we'll let these 2 mingle. I'm not sure what they're talking about. But okay, so on this side, I was able to take all the extra masons that did not have our desired terracotta trades and keep them. Most of them are at 1 emerald, so that's what we want. And just going through this entire row really gives us more than half a stack of emerald blocks, which is unbelievable. Then also here I have the silk touch as well as our mending villager. That way we can quickly access these books whenever we want them. And we also have quite a few clerics because I want lapis lazuli, redstone, bottle of enchanting, glowstone, all these good trades. And then lastly I have 2 Fletchers just in case. As you can see, the inflation is starting to take effect on the stick trade, but that's okay. And so, oh yeah, the reason I kept this a little bit open is 1, we're running into the back of the hill here, despite going back really far. Yeah, so this is where this is starting to pop out. So we do have a little bit more room, but for now this will suffice. Where is it? Right, so if you go down here, and the reason I put the clerics over here is because we have spider spawner. I think that's cave. Yeah, that's cave. And then another cave spider spawner over here. So potentially we can make a double spider farm over here. And if I'm not mistaken, yeah, a zombie spawner over here. So potentially rotten flesh and spider farm in this corridor long term. But yeah, overall I wanted to keep this area more industrial, which is why we have more of the orange blocks. Oh, I'm not sure whether to connect the tops or keep them separate like this. I lean towards this, but if y'all could let me know which looks better to you, I would appreciate it because I'm really torn, to be honest. Because this looks a little bit original, whereas this, maybe there's a way to make this like less boring. Or it looks very repetitive. I guess because this is all the same as is this, but it's all good. And then the floor, I tried to make it seem like this is the deeper, kind of like more cavernous area, just to fit the mason theme. But that's what I have incorporated there. So really, this place is done. I don't think I'll get to this today, or housing all of the villagers, simply because there's so many, and I didn't account for this in the original planning, and I'm pretty done with this project. I don't know about you all, but it's taken so long to get just these trades all at the 1 stone. Ah, yeah, you're not 1 stone anymore. You're not 1 stone either. But, interesting, it did not work for these 2. Well, weird, but maybe I'll just like release them all and then get them back into their respective slots. Yeah, maybe that's the way to go before the update, but I think for now we are done here, and I will just finish up by completing the floor and making a small little design. I'll probably also just like make pathing. Yeah, I'll just like make a path to connect both of these entryways, and then I'll remove all the slime blocks, and then the floor. Yeah, I'm not too sure what I should do for this at the moment, but let me think of something. Oh yeah, before I forget. Okay, so I kept making a big deal about finding an enchanted golden apple, and I finally want to put it to good use by making a banner. Okay, so what this banner is meant to signify is that we live on this archipelago, and we're more or less in an alliance with the villagers on the neighboring island, and so it's meant to represent the fact that we're all here on these islands. Alright, so we'll start with a blue banner, and so now that we have the enchanted golden apple, we're going to make the thing banner pattern, and now we're going to adorn it like so. And then from here, blue dye, and then we want this diamond. Alright, and now we want the border indented. And then I would say we're done. Yeah, so here's our Island Alliance banner. So you have the 2 islands over here. Maybe let's say that's the Guardian Farm. An island that has yet to be built. And then the area where the villagers live. So something like that. Oh, that's how you copy it. Okay, great. Alright, so we'll make 5 for now. Keep 1 here. The original, let's say. And yeah, we can place these as we want. Alright, so I think to finish up this episode, I'll work on the floor. And then I do want to do a little bit of netherite mining in the nether in preparation for updating, since we have depleted actually all but one of our netherite blocks, because I did end up making the netherite pickaxe stash. Oh my goodness, I'm really turned around. Right here. Right, so we're good to go on that front. I still have not made armor, as well as additional axes, and maybe a couple of swords. So I'll want to do that in preparation for updating the world. And then, yeah, I think that would just about do it. So let me get to work on this floor and see what I can come up with. So after deliberation, I decided to make the floor into a block map replica of the island. The map is oriented in the same direction as the world, so hopefully it looks familiar enough to our 2 islands, where we've built the villager's city over here, and we more or less have this large mound that we're inside of right over here. Though these lights looked a little bit too bright on the replay, they actually serve their purpose of mob-proofing this area really well, and I don't think they appear too brightly, at least using the default shaders. So with that, I would say that this area is wrapped up. So while I was making this map reference, you can see that it does bear some resemblance to the archipelago, or at least I think so, where you have this network of islands here, and then you have the larger network of islands over there. Technically, this is not part of an island, that's the continent. This actually is its own standalone island. And this is a mountainous island to the south, which we really haven't explored at all in the series. But yeah, I think it looks similar, but maybe my imagination is a tad overactive. Oh, I also think I understand how the villagers work now. So specifically, a freshly cured villager needs to gossip with the other villagers in order to keep the prices low. I also realized that this curing bug can be stacked 5 times, and I thought it was 4 this whole time. So all of these villagers have only been cured 4 times. Whoops. But as I mentioned before, I'm exceedingly done with this project for the time being, so I'm really hoping that by updating the world, this won't count the prior cure stacking that we've implemented, it would still allow me to zombify and cure and therefore get that final discount once more once we update the world. But if you are well versed in villager mechanics and you know that this is not going to work, please, please, please let me know down below, because I would really prefer not to work on this any more than I have to. At this point, I've worked on this project and this episode for 4 months in total, with the very first part of this episode being recorded in June. No kidding. And in this time frame, I've actually gotten sick twice, which is just really not good. But needless to say, I'm highly inclined to not just bother with the final curing, because I could just use the Hero of the Villager status effect to bring everything down to 1 emerald. So yeah, I think we're good to go. The whole purpose of this project to begin with was simply to have enough emeralds, or the means to get enough emeralds quickly, in order to trade for glass, to use in the nether, and our builds, of course. So with that goal accomplished, I think we're done. I didn't get to doing these paths, but I really want to get this episode out before I attend this conference that I'm going to. But with regards to updating the world, my goal has been extended a little bit. Ideally, we can do it this year, but I'm really waiting for my partner's new computer to be built in November, just in case my current computer cannot handle the updated version of Minecraft. So that's why I'm not procrastinating, but delaying the update until that is done. And hopefully by then we have the Pale Forest in the game, because I would really, really like to use the Grey Wood. I've waited for that kind of palette for so long. Off camera, I'm going to clean all this up and get rid of that monstrosity for sure. And then also maybe do some netherite mining and load a couple more chunks. My immediate plan is to do a world tour for the next episode, just to close out the 1.16 saga of the series and look back on the 2-year history of this world. Wow. Yeah, I can't believe it's been 2 years. Alright, with that, I think I'll end this episode here. I deeply appreciate everyone's patience and support during my hiatus, and hope to continue making content throughout the year. If this series ever does end, or I need to take another pause, I'll be sure and let you all know. The last thing I want to do is just disappear and let this fade into nothing. But in any case, thank you so much for watching. It's actually the 2-year anniversary of this series, so thank you again for 500 subs and all your support, for those of you who have stuck around or who are new. I really appreciate everyone, and I doubt that I would have gotten this far in this series without all of the support, so thank you again. As always, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week. Take care, and see you next time.